Hey BrewTubers, I'm filming this from my office for a change around 7 o'clock on a Thursday because I work till 8. So I figured that since I haven't been participating in the 24 ounce Tuesday or consistent homebrew Wednesdays for that matter, or Thirsty Thursdays or Epic Fridays, I figured I'd film a quick update video, and then when I get to an area with better Wi-Fi I can upload it from my phone, which I'm filming it on. So I thought I'd just talk about what's going on, and then next week I'm gonna have concrete things to film, like possible brewing and stuff, which I'll talk about later in this video. Then I'll post another Homebrew Wednesday video. But I just wanted to give you an update of what's going on, so that I could quasi participate in all these new trends, new video days, if you want to call it that. So, I briefly mentioned in my last Homebrew Wednesday that the Belgian Pale Ale, that I did take a gravity sample and it got down to where I wanted it to, and then it was very yeast forward, so I asked for some advice, and a lot of people were recommending to dry hop it because while I did like the yeast character was too dominant, so I decided to take my extra ounce of Nelson Sauvin that I had in my freezer and dry hop with that, and that really, when I kegged it on Monday night, it really brought a lot of fruitiness to the beer, and I'm really looking forward to having it on tap. So next week, hopefully I'll have time to film a Homebrew Wednesday, and I'll do a taste test as part of Homebrew Wednesday. So that's that. Then I mentioned, I think in my last Homebrew Wednesday, the one before that I entered Homebrew Alley, which is New York City's probably biggest homebrew competition of the year. This year they actually had less entries than last year. Last year was like 670, and this one was only like 500 or something, maybe a little less. But being that, my barley wine, my non-oaked barley wine, which has been aging for a little bit over a year, won third place in the English Strong Ale category. So I'm really happy that, even with all the issues I had, that scoring low last year and being overcarbonated and having off flavors, it aged beautifully despite still being overcarbonated. The flavor's all there and the mouthfeel's there. So that's that recipe, which I don't have to tweak anymore. And then in terms of other scores, I'll wait till I get my score sheets back to look at the feedback to review them with you guys like I did last year. But I didn't want to mention that my Imperial Stout didn't place, but it did get a 38, which is really good, especially in a competitive category like stouts, and especially for my first time brewing that recipe. So hopefully I'll brew it again. Instead of brewing my barley wine again for next year's competition, I'm going to brew the Imperial Stout, and hopefully brew day will go smoother, and it'll be even better beer, and then it'll have a better chance to stand up against all the other stouts that are being judged in the category. But I'm really happy to have another ribbon, because I really do only enter that one competition every year, just because I get enough feedback at Homebrew Club meetings throughout the month, every month, twice a month, and I don't really need the blind feedback to entering multiple competitions. But that's just me. There's a lot of people that are homebrewers that are like competition junkies that enter brew specifically for a competition, or just enter a lot of competitions throughout the year. But I don't do that. Then, as you may have seen on my Facebook, on the Brewed Palate Facebook page, something I'll be covering next week is that my custom tap handles have been finished, and I should get them in the mail on Monday or Tuesday of next week. So once I get them and I film myself installing them, you'll see them. And I'll talk in next week's Homebrew Wednesday. I'll talk about why they look the way they look, and I'm definitely going to post a blog post with all the pictures of the progression of the design and the building of them. That someone I met on the in the homebrewing subreddit, he designed it with me, and I made the tap handles. So I'll talk about that process next week. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about, in the last couple minutes of memory that I have on my phone, is that I last night was the February Bruminaries meeting. If you don't know, Bruminaries is a club I started, and I was an officer last year, but this year, because of the baby, I'm not an officer. We had our meeting, and what we did for this meeting specifically was we did one of our experiments that we do throughout the year, and we were going to be doing a lot of them this year, so maybe I'll talk about them more in my videos. As we did a Brettanomyces experiment. So we took a base Saison recipe, and the control was a basic Saison with the Belgian Weiss Belgian Saison. And then for the Brett part, the other three conditions were number one, 100% Brett, so no Saison yeast. Then there was another condition where both Brett and Saison yeast were pitched in primary. And then the fourth one, which I think was unanimous that everyone liked most, was doing the Saison yeast in primary and then racking to a secondary and putting Brett in secondary. And I think the Brett character was most pronounced in putting the Brett in secondary condition, and so overall the beer just tasted the best to most people, especially those like me who love Saisons with Brett. So we have a water additions experiment coming up, and then one called Top Chef, where people add different spices and stuff. So those are the next two experiments. We call them showcases sometimes, and I'll explain more about it as they come up. But my phone is about to run out of battery, so I wish you happy home brewing because I'm not posting this on a Wednesday, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.